We all know that being the President of the United States is one of the most stressful jobs in the world. But have you ever wondered how they sleep at night? Turns out, from night owls to chronic nappers, U.S. presidents have had some wild sleep habits, and today we're diving deep into their routines, quirks, and even some sleep challenges they faced behind the scenes. So let's see what presidential sleep looks like. First up, let's discuss the very first president of the United States, George Washington. Washington famously followed the old proverb, "Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." He was known for his strict personal discipline, and this extended to his sleep routine. Historical letters and diaries showed that he usually went to bed around 9 p.m. and was up by 5 a.m., ready to start his day with a morning ride around Mount Vernon. He typically rose at dawn with 3 cornmeal cakes, 3 cups of tea, and no cream. Next up, we have President Harry Truman, who had an interesting morning routine. Truman reportedly went to bed around 9 p.m. and rose at 5 a.m. each day no matter what. He started his mornings with a shot of bourbon, a glass of orange juice, and a brisk 10-minute walk. After that, he enjoyed a hearty breakfast of bacon, eggs, cereal, toast, and a large glass of milk to get his day started. A shot of bourbon is definitely interesting, but I guess it worked for him. Next, Abraham Lincoln suffered from chronic insomnia. Historical accounts describe him pacing the halls of the White House late at night, scribbling notes, and working through speeches in the quiet hours. Interestingly, Lincoln also never slept in the famous Lincoln bed at the White House. It was used by guests instead. His battles with depression likely contributed to his restless nights, highlighting how mental health and sleep are deeply connected. Can you imagine him writing the Gettysburg Address on no sleep? Iconic, but exhausting. Next, let's talk about President Barack Obama, who was famously known as a night owl. According to insiders, Obama would stay up well past midnight every night, long after his family and much of his staff had gone to bed. He used that time to read briefing books, catch up on sports highlights, and reflect quietly away from the chaos of the day. Typically, he only got about 5 to 6 hours of sleep per night. He once said he valued his quiet time because it gave him a sense of control over his packed schedule, even if it meant sacrificing sleep. Next, President JFK's sleep habits were shaped by chronic back pain from World War II. JFK and Jackie Kennedy famously slept on 2 twin beds pushed together, mainly because he needed a firmer mattress while she preferred something softer. Kennedy was also a huge believer in daily naps, sometimes clocking in 1 to 2 hour naps in the middle of the day. In fact, his White House routine often included a late afternoon nap, followed by a warm bath to help with muscle relaxation before evening events or decision-making meetings. Honestly, with the stress of everything else he had to do, can you blame him for wanting a nap? Next up, we have President Calvin Coolidge, easily one of the heaviest sleepers the White House has ever seen. Coolidge reportedly slept up to 11 hours per day, including an additional 2 to 4 hour nap in the afternoon. Historians believe his excessive sleeping habits may have been tied to depression, especially following the sudden death of his teenage son, Calvin Jr., in 1924. This was obviously a loss that deeply affected him emotionally. It's a reminder that sometimes excessive sleep is a response to grief and emotional exhaustion, not just laziness. President Lyndon B. Johnson had one of the most interesting sleep habits of any U.S. president. He split his day into 2 shifts. He started work around 7 a.m. and worked through early afternoon. Then he took a 2-hour nap and resumed working in the evening until sometimes 1 or 2 a.m. Johnson was known to hold meetings late in the night, often while walking around the grounds of his Texas ranch or the White House lawn. Honestly, LBJ walked so Obama can run, literally and figuratively. President Donald Trump has claimed on multiple occasions that he only gets 4 to 5 hours of sleep per night, both before his presidency and during. He's often compared himself to Margaret Thatcher, the former British Prime Minister who famously slept for 4 hours a night. Some scientists theorize that around 1% of the population carries a short sleeper gene mutation. But for most people, chronic sleep deprivation can severely impact cognition, memory, and mood. Whether it's genetics or willpower, his sleep habits definitely aren't for everyone, especially me. Now let's go back to one of the founding fathers, President John Adams. John Adams was known for his early mornings and his love of reading in bed before sunrise. He often woke up around 4 or 5 a.m. to study, write letters, or prepare for the day ahead. He believed that a strong mental and moral foundation came from a structured, disciplined life, including consistent rest. Another interesting thing to note is that it is rumored that him and Abigail didn't share a bed. Honestly, I wouldn't want to share a bed with my spouse either if he was waking up extremely early. Teddy Roosevelt was known to be a force of nature during the day and apparently at night too. He reportedly snored so loudly that during a hospital stay, doctors assigned him his own floor to prevent disturbing other patients. Modern sleep specialists believe Roosevelt may have suffered from undiagnosed sleep apnea, which is a condition where breathing repeatedly starts and stops during sleep. This leads to loud snoring and daytime fatigue. So, if CPAP machines were a thing back then, Roosevelt definitely would have been their poster boy. Ronald Reagan, JFK, and Bill Clinton were all three firm believers in the power nap. Reagan famously scheduled daily naps during his presidency, treating it as a non-negotiable part of his routine. Bill Clinton, who also had a reputation for running on little sleep, admitted he was better on 4 hours a night than 9. However, he still tried to grab quick naps whenever he could. Research today supports this. Power naps between 15 to 30 minutes can boost alertness, decision-making, and memory without causing sleep inertia. Basically, naps weren't a luxury. They were a presidential strategy. Finally, we have President William Howard Taft, who weighed over 300 pounds and was reported to suffer from sleep apnea and overheating. To help him sleep better, he had a screened sleeping porch built on the White House roof so he could snooze in the fresh, cool air even during DC's muggy summers. Modern sleep experts still recommend keeping bedroom temperatures cool, ideally between 62 degrees and 67 degrees Fahrenheit, to maximize deep restorative sleep. Honestly, Taft was ahead of his time. If you thought that these sleep habits were super fascinating like I did, leave me a comment down below and let me know which one was your favorite. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you right here next time. Bye!